Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Injustice For All MMA. My name is David, and this episode is for UFC Fight Night, Brunson vs. Till. Overall, a good night of fights. We had no injustices on the card at all. It was a fun night of fights. It was a small card. I believe it was like 9 fights, which is good. I like the fights that are like 9 because, not too many things you have to score. Just even if all of them were decisions, I would be much more happier than it being like a random pay-per-view that I have to now score every single fight. But either way, I had fun. It was nice. But since we have no injustices at all, we go straight to the honorable mentions category. Just a reminder, the honorable mentions are for scorecards that were correct, but I had a problem with what round was scored and the reasoning why. So the first fight is Lungiambula versus Barriault. I had it 29-28 for Barriault, and the judges had it. Derek Clearly had it 29-28. Barriault 29-28 for Saul Diamato for Barriault, and the same for Brian Minner. Now, I'm gonna look at all three of the scorecards are a little weird. All right, so we'll start off with the first one, Derek Clearly. Derek Clearly got the last one correct, which was the third round, and the second is where I thought is the one he got wrong. He gave a 10-9 to Lungiambula in that second round. And then the first round, he gave the first to Barriault. Now, in the first round, there was a lot of missed shots, right? Barely anyone connected in that first round. Lungiambula had 2 takedowns, and while he didn't do anything with the takedowns, there was so very little strikes landed that those 2 takedowns ended up being the reason why he won that first round. I think he scored the first 2 rounds incorrectly. Again, the right person won. This is kind of the nitpicky category, but again, we move on. Saul Diamato, his scorecard reflects mine completely, so I have no problems with his. And Derek Minner, he had the last 2 correct. The first, I disagree that the first went to he gave a 10-9 to Barriault. Just like I explained before, again, both were throwing, but both were missing, and Barriault got taken down twice. I thought he got the first one, the first round wrong for that one. So the honorable mention goes to Derek Clearly and Brian Minner. Second honorable mention. This one's kind of weird. Let's start from the top. So this one is for McCann versus Yeon Kim. Before I give my scorecard, I scored it originally by giving the first round to Kim. Originally. This was as I was watching this. The first round to Kim. This was not with the knockdown. Now, when they clashed heads, okay, I initially saw the clash of heads, so I knew that it wasn't a knockdown initially, but I still scored it for Kim. Okay. Then I scored the rest of the rounds the way they were. Okay, the rest of my cards were done via me watching the second and the third. At the end of the third, I paused and I thought, okay, I'm not happy with the way I scored that first. The first felt a little all over the place, and there was just so much going on. I thought to myself, you know what? I would do a disservice. If you look back into the archives, there's very few times that I maybe like twice, where I went back and I rewatched a round just to make sure I had it correctly. Originally, I titled this a close round, but I gave it to Yeon Kim. Then I went back and rewatched it. and I changed the score. I gave the first to Molly McCann. My reasoning is she was outstriking her before the accidental headbutt, and even when you mix in the clinch strikes, not the clinch strikes, excuse me, even when you mix in the little ground and pound that Kim had, and when Molly finally like clears the cobwebs, so to speak, she does enough in the end for me to win that round. For me personally. And so I gave her that round. I also put a close category because it's very close. I mean, the numbers could be super close. So I'm not mad. Well, I want to put it like this. When I put this close marker on it, I'm not mad that the judges gave it to Kim, but I personally gave it to McCann. Do I agree that they should have given it to Kim? Probably not, but it's close, so I'm not mad. There's no honorable mention for that first round. But we're going to get into the second and the third, where in that second round, okay, it's very close on the feet. The strikes are pretty even, and Molly gets a takedown at the very end. It's her round for sure, 100%. We look to the judges' scorecard where all three had it 29-28, and in that second, they all give it to Molly. So, boom, done. My only problem here is, and I've had this problem in the past where in the UFC we score. Not we. They score. I'm sorry, in the UFC, Jesus. No. Yeah, okay. In the UFC, they score by round. And if you go over to ONE or certain other organizations, they score by the overall fight, which I think is ridiculous, but whatever. Sometimes I feel, and I'm trying to say this respectably, as though I don't know if there's, I'm not going to say what I'm going to say. What I'm trying to say is this. That last round, while some may say it's close, it's definitely not close. Because I gave the last round to Yeon Kim. Now, again, overall, 29-28 for McCann. Everyone had it that way. Fine. But Yeon Kim outstrikes Molly McCann in that last and final round. And for some odd reason, all three judges gave the last round to Molly McCann. I disagree with that entirely. Now, as you know, I will tell you if I think that I believe a scorecard is wrong. Now, I will still try and defend it if one of my rounds are wrong. But I'll tell you if I think it's wrong. Yeon Kim outstruck Molly McCann in that last round. Molly won this whole fight, yes. But Yeon Kim won that last round. And while I want to give just some weird honorable mention to all three, I can't. In the past I probably would have, but I can't because it's just weird. They're all kind of pointing on me, and I just don't feel as though that's it. But okay, I'll just to appease the gods, I'll give myself an honorable mention. Honorable mention for me scoring that last round for Molly McCann. I'm sorry, that last round for Yeon Kim. All right, and we're on to the last honorable mention, which is another possible honorable mention for me. This is for Morono versus Zawada. All three judges Actually, no, all three judges had it 30-27. I had it 29-28. With me giving Zawada the last round. Again, listen, I don't know. I feel like I'm on it. I believe Zawada outstruck him in that very last round. In the first half of that round, Morono was outstriking him at first, and then he slowed it down a bit and allowed Zawada to just kind of like piece his way back through strikes, and I believe he outstruck him in the end of that final round. I don't believe it's a 30-27. I disagree wholeheartedly that it's a 30-27, but all three judges had it 30-27, and that's fine. Which is why I give myself an honorable mention for the 10-9 I give to Zawada, and also for the 10-9 I gave to Yeon Kim. Even though I feel like I got those perfectly correct, but that's fine. All right. I mean, overall, that's it. That's all we have for the honorable mentions. Hopefully next week, my goal obviously is to continue scoring these as best as I can. But the ultimate goal really is for there to be an episode where I just come in, do the weird intro, and then do the outro, because I want there to just be a clean card. Just a clean card. Because that would essentially just end the show. There would be no, well, I mean, I would still be whining about stuff for the next week, but imagine a card where every card is scored correctly. What would that be? It'd be like a clean sweep. There's another word for it. Grand slam. No. Clean sweep, grand slam. A perfect game. Right? Yeah, you can't call it a no-hitter, but perfect game. It'd be a perfect game. Immaculate scorecard. It would be an immaculate scorecard. That's the goal. Anyways, I'll be back next week. Thank you for listening, and God bless.